So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. Now listen, bro. Y'all was really trying to ruin this one for me, man. Fam, I get it. Y'all was trying to tell me about it, and y'all was trying to create a sense of urgency to get me to get to it by dropping a little information about the video. But I was like, yo, don't tell me about it. I got y'all. So, you know what I mean? This here is beyond crazy now. You got Disney employees, retired judge among arrested in an investigation focusing on human trafficking. Huh? Like, how did we get here? But who better than to bring it to you than the one and only Grady Judd? And that's all I need to say. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the fam, prepare yourself. Here we go.
It's unbelievable the victims we get with our human trafficking operations. And we identified one this time that I'll talk about without her name. Many times it takes follow-up investigation by this wonderful team of counselors in order to get there. But let's start with Mr. Finley. Mr. Finley is not involved in this from a human trafficking / prostitution operation, but we hit a grand slam in that we also found child sex predators. And he's the first child sex predator that we identified. He's 39 years of age. He's a handyman. He's from Mulberry.
Let that sink in. And the reason why I say let that sink in is because it's possible that you could have hired this person to come in your house and work on things and be amongst your children and not even know. I say that to keep that in the back of your mind when you're allowing people in your house to come work on your house and you let your guard down and your kids are running around playing, and what the people you let in your house, the intentions could be.
And he traveled to our undercover location thinking he was going to engage a very young child for sex. Newsflash, it wasn't a very young child, it was a group of detectives. He's been charged as a result for traveling, for resisting arrest. That's right, he ran from us. He didn't want to go to jail. He had meth. He was also charged with attempted lewd battery and transmission of some very ugly stuff that he thought was going to a 13-year-old child. So it would have been a grand slam week for all of our resources and efforts if we'd have just gotten Timothy Finley, who thought he was traveling to meet a child. It's pretty nervy if you think about it. He was showing up at the child's residence when he thought mom and dad weren't there. But he wasn't alone. Then there's Shannon Johnson, he's 41. He's from Orlando. You know, it's interesting, the Orlando stations aren't here today. They should be, because they got a lot of these problems over in Orlando, and the community over there needs to be made aware of it. He thought he was communicating with a 13-year-old child. He wanted to be her daddy. He wanted to have different kinds of sex with what he thought was a 13-year-old child. He works at a warehouse. He was charged with traveling, attempted lewd battery, transmission of photos of himself, nude photos, you know what I mean? And he didn't have any children himself, but he wanted to play this game of daddy. That's right, he has a criminal history. And when we arrested him, he said, "You got me. You're right. We got him." So if we'd arrested two,
Didn't try to run. Nah, he's like, He probably said in the back of my mind, in the back of his mind, I knew this day would come. I knew it would come. He had to have known.
Child predators, that would have been a grand slam week. But we got another one. This guy's from Gainesville. He's employed in construction. He did not travel, but he communicated with what he thought was a 14-year-old child online and said, "Don't tell the cops." And then he sent videos and stills of himself doing things an adult should never do in the presence of a child, or publicly, or recorded for public consumption. Nasty stuff. Rose here, Jody Rose, is a nasty, nasty guy. He's 36 years old. So we traveled to Gainesville to get him. Or we had the Alachua Sheriff's Office travel for us to get him.
Can you imagine his face when they just rolled up in his yard? Yeah. That's the thing. You know what I mean? It sounds like to me Grady Judd taking over for Chris Hansen right now. That's what it sounds like.
When we arrested him, he said, "It's just a misunderstanding." Maybe a misunderstanding on his part. It's not a misunderstanding on our part. He was sending nasty videos and photographs to children. No criminal history up until now, but now he's got 11 felony charges, so he made up for lost time with his arrest. That would have been a grand slam if we'd only gotten 3. Then there's Xavier Jackson. He's 27. He thought he was chatting with a 14-year-old, and he sent photos of himself doing things that's totally inappropriate. He did not travel, so once again, the Orange County Sheriff's Office assisted us, and because he's from Orlando, and traveled to arrest him, where he was charged with 3 counts of harmful material and 1 count of unlawful communication. Oh, did I mention that he just happens to be a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort?
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah. How many kids he's come in contact with? Oh my gosh, bro. Did you ever think? Huh? We've all been to places that had a lifeguard on duty. Did you ever think? Sits up high looking down on everybody. Did you ever think that? I didn't.
For Disney. You think there's a few children around there?
Disney.
That's right. I didn't
Disney?
stutter. He was a lifeguard
Disney?
at the Polynesian Resort for Disney and was bragging about that.
Disney?
So we were able to arrest 4 predators in this operation. This is huge. 4 arrests of this magnitude in a week is simply remarkable. But let's move on. These guys weren't predators, but they all have something in common with the last arrest. They work for Disney. So you have Wilkeson Fidel. He's 24. He lives in Orlando. He thought he was coming for sex. He's been a Disney employee for 4 years, and he works at the Cosmic Restaurant in Tomorrowland. Except now he is in the county jail if he hasn't made bond yet. And then there's Shahab Malav. He's 27. He's a software developer for Disney. He's worried because he's here on a work visa from India. He thought he was coming to have sex with 2 ladies. Surprise, once again, undercover detectives. Then there's Ralph.
He's gone. He's out of here. They probably gonna get him up out of here, bro. More than likely.
He's 45. He lives in Winter Garden. He's an IT employee for Disney. He's been there about 4 years, and he's married. So I'm sure Disney's not pleased. I bet his wife's not pleased, but we're pleased that we arrested him.
Yo, Grady always got away with words, man.
I'm going to tell you about a trafficker. It's not often we arrest traffickers at the undercover site, but we did. And normally when we arrest traffickers at the undercover site, it's a male. Let me introduce you to Tiffany Nash. She was the trafficker of a young lady. Tiffany's 32 years of age. Why she's not been busy committing crime, because she has 61 previous criminal charges.
Shit. How do you get 61 and be outside of a jail cell to tell about it? 61, fam. You know how long it take you to count the 61? She got 61 charges. That's insane. Wow. Talking about, she's well past a second chance.
41 of them felonies and 20 as misdemeanors. She's the manager of the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Orlando. Now, I just don't believe I'd want any finger-licking good chicken that she touched. Just saying. What she does is she would set up the deal. And then she would force this young lady, this victim, to come along. This deal was for $300. If this lady were lucky, she would get $20. So the lady, the victim, Ubered over, followed by Tiffany to make sure that the deal went right, and Tiffany got her money. As soon as we took the victim down, ostensibly for an arrest, this wonderful team determined she's a victim. So she's not criminally charged, and she's not up here on this board because she's immediately turned over and treated as a victim, not a criminal suspect in an event. So Tiffany's been charged with human trafficking, deriving proceeds, possession of cocaine, possession of meth, possession of paraphernalia, and guess what? She's not managing the Kentucky Fried Chicken place today. She's in our county jail. And we don't serve finger-licking good chicken there.
Yo, this man. He made it a point to stress that, bro. My thing was, when he was listening out, did she make it to 70? I lost count with her charges. Did she make it to 70 at this point? I mean, does it even hold any weight that she's appeared in front of a judge so many times? Countless charges? No. She probably working in the kitchen, though. She making something finger licking. That ain't chicken.
The victim has been turned over for services. Then we have Daniel Peters, 66 years old. He thought he was coming for a girlfriend experience, kind of a date. He went on an escort site. Oh, can I show you the other picture of Daniel Peters? This is the Honorable Daniel Peters, who is a retired judge from Cook County, Illinois, or the Dishonorable Judge Peters from Cook County, Illinois. And when we were doing our follow-up investigation to validate all of this, what did we find out? He also retired from the Cook County Sheriff's Office, according to him. That's right. He said he was a special assistant in legal affairs, and he worked, are you ready for this? In the Office of Professional Regulations, where he was a director. You're kidding me, right? No, I'm not kidding you. As my old daddy would have said, that's a known fact. He said, quote, I've been on the other side of this. Well, I'd like to ask him today, so which side do you like best? Now that you have been the prosecutor.
Yo, Grady. Yo, you gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill, man.
You've been the judge, you've been at the state attorney's office, and now you're the defendant. So we locked him up in the county jail. He says he lives in Palos Hills, Illinois. He requested an attorney. Well, Judge, you need an attorney. You got problems. He went to the jail in Polk County. Then there's Richard Jackson. He thought he was coming for sex. This guy wouldn't be particularly interesting out of the group. He lives in Orlando, but he worked at a family amusement park called the Fun Spot, around children, around a lot of people. So we thought it's worthy for people to know, if you go to the Fun Spot, if they still employ him, you need to know that he will do illegal things for money.
Thank you.
And then there's Nelson Cruz. You know, we got this thing going with food restaurants. He is a manager of a restaurant as well, Cracker Barrel in Altamont Springs. He's married. He's worried.
Look at his mugshot. He just looked like, oh man. I'm finna. It looked like it's set in, and now it's going through his mind at everything he's losing. Look at his face.
As well, because he's here on a work visa from Honduras. He thought he was coming to have sex. Now, he lives in our county, but obviously he hasn't got the message yet. You know why he said he did this? Are you ready for this? He had an argument with his wife. So he decided that I'll just go have an event with a prostitute. I bet his wife's not happy. I'm just guessing. He's arrested. And we don't serve Cracker Barrel at the jail, so he won't have to worry about seeing delicious food, only nutritious food. And then there's James Compton. He's 42. He's a graphic designer. He wanted to have all kinds of sex, and he wouldn't be particularly interested, except for the fact his 17-year-old son was refereeing a youth soccer game across the street. Hey, I guess he just got tired, right? Let's see, my son's refereeing this youth soccer tournament. I don't have anything to do. I think I'll go across the street and have sex with a prostitute. There's your all-American dad. So he has a criminal history back in 1998 for lewd battery. So the night's wrapping down. We have arrested this child predator who resists us and runs, so we have to tase him. And as is our protocol, when you tase someone, you have an ambulance run an EKG strip to make sure everything's all right. So we have to call an ambulance to the scene, and a fire truck shows up. We've got another undercover deal cooking. So our undercover people try to blow off the deal. Hey, we'll do it tomorrow. Here's the deal. There was a guy by the name of Seth Phillips and Christina Garrett, coming from Bradenton. Christina is Seth's girlfriend. Follow this now. Coming from Bradenton, where they're to be paid $1,000 to have sex with two undercover people. They think this is going to be $1,000 in their pocket. They're going to have sex. It's going to be a great evening. However, Seth left his wife at home while he shows up with his girlfriend. So he gets in the area. We had the guy resist. Now we got to have the fire trucks there and the ambulance and the EKG strips. So we text, our undercovers text and say, hey, the cops are here. Told them the truth. Ambulance is here, fire trucks here. We'll do it tomorrow night. Seth, who's a former Marine and a Lyft driver, is not happy. So here's what he says. I'm mad. I've come all the way over here for $1,000 and now you're blowing me off. You are going to pay me $100 for the ball of meth. You are going to pay me $500 for the cancellation. If not, you better have a lot of friends with guns and a chopper. You'll sleep well if you pay knowing that the boogeyman won't come. And then he continued to threaten. And guess what? He showed up. That's right, the ambulance had cleared out, fire trucks had cleared out. We'd shut the operation down for the night. The detectives were in the house. When they noticed on the camera, a car pulls up. This guy gets out of the car along with Christina. He does not walk to the house. He sprints to the house, gun in hand.
Oh,
You see where this is going? So our detectives, who are simply the very best, they say to themselves, Seth, we think we ought to have a gun since this guy has just arrived gun in hand. We open the door with 4 of our guys with guns, and he's got a gun above his head. He's coming down with his gun. Christina saves his life by jumping in front of him. He puts the gun in his waistband, so we don't know if he's bringing it down to point it at us or he's counting 4 guns and he brings it down to put. It is that close to a shooting.
Ho, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. He don't know. Bro, it was an angel over his shoulder that night. Sheesh.
Microseconds. We take him into custody. He's charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, attempted robbery, possession of meth, extortion by threat. Christina's charged with prostitution and possession of heroin. And he made the statement during the interview. He became totally cooperative at this point and said, you would have been right to shoot me. Well, I appreciate his understanding of the gravity of the situation.
I don't think nobody would have opposed, bro. You showed up. They saw you on camera, gun in hand. At that point, it's you or me.
But because our detectives did exactly what was right, and because Christina got in the way, and she gets credit as well for him being alive today, because this was a very tough situation.
Yeah, cause she could have. I thought he was gonna say she got shot. That's what I thought he was gonna say. She's recovering from a gunshot wound. Like, fam, bro, you got a judge, a bunch of Disney employees, All these pedophiles. Like, this is insane. I see why y'all was hitting me up about this one. That is crazy. I think that's the craziest one we've seen so far from Grady Judd. If not, it's up there. It's up there. Wow. Listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section, bro. Let me know what you think of this. This is scary. Scary. And that amount of arrests they did in that short span of time. And the charges. Scary, man. Protect yourselves, man, and protect your children. It's your boy L. Till next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.